Hi guys, I hope everyone's well. This is the lockdown science lesson, and today we're going to be focusing on the core practicals in science. All of this information can be found on the Edexcel website and in any textbooks that you have, making sure that they are Edexcel textbooks. So we have 3 learning objectives we need to go through today. We're going to try and categorize practical investigations. We're going to critique student exam responses. So by critique, I mean evaluate and look at it and try and improve it. And we're also going to identify different scientific variables. So, first question number 1. I would like you to draw a table to sort the practical investigations below into biology, chemistry or physics practicals. So here we have 9 practicals. I'd like you to pause the video, do a little bit of research and try and split them into which ones you think are biology practicals, which ones you think are chemistry practicals, and which ones you think are physics practicals. So remember, when you're drawing your table, you need to have 3 columns because you have 3 items to sort. You need to have a box around it with your headings at the top: biology, chemistry, physics. 3 of them were biology, so anything to do with cells, living cells is obviously biology. Food tests, and then pH and enzymes is biology as well, so well done if you got those right. Chemistry ones, rates of reactions, acid and alkali titration, and identifying ions, so again well done if you got those. And the final 3 were physics. Now if you want to, you can go away, feel free to research any of these practicals, because in the exam they can ask you exam questions based on these, because you will not have any coursework. These are all the practicals you need to do if you're in year 10. Key stage 4 year 10, you have 8 practicals that you need to research. If you are in year 11, you should have already done these 8 practicals, and you have your biology practicals to focus on, and there's 8 of those, and you have your physics practicals to focus on, and there's 8 of those. So we will be going through separate videos in more detail, but if you do want to go away and watch any videos on these, there's lots of them on YouTube for you to have a look at. So moving on to the next thing we need to do. We now need to have a look at some exam questions. So what we need to do is have a go at this exam question here. It says, describe how the student should use a light microscope to view the squashed root tip. What I would like you to do is to pause the video and have a go. You are aiming to get 3 marks in the exam for this. If you are struggling, there are some keywords to help you. The slide is what you put the cell on. The stage is what the slide goes onto. The lens is what you look into or what you change, and you have 2 types of lenses. You have the eyepiece lens, what you look into. You have the objective lens that you change. You have the magnification, which is changed when you change the objective lens. And you have focus, which is how clear you can see the cell you are looking at by turning the wheel or the knob. So here is the mark scheme. Take your time and mark your question for me, please. Aiming to get 3 marks. So what we have here is an example of a student's response. Can you read the answer for me, use the mark scheme, and can you try and mark this question out of 3 marks? So pause the video and try and mark that. So when I marked this, I gave this 0 out of 3 marks. So what I would like you to do is make corrections as I do it. So the first one is lens. The reason the student wouldn't get the mark for that is because they haven't said which lens they have to look into. Using the keywords, can you have a think about which lens they use to look into? Hopefully you've picked the right one and you've realised it's the eyepiece lens. So if they put the word eyepiece, they would have got 1 mark. The next thing they need to change is this here. They've said clear. Can you think about which keyword they need to use instead of clear to get the mark? So hopefully you've had a go at that. The word that they need to use is they need to use the word focus, and they need to talk about how they can improve the focus when they move the focusing knob or the focusing wheel. And finally, they've talked about low power, but can you think about how they need to change that to get the third mark? Hopefully you've realised that they need to use the word magnification, and they need to talk about the magnification being low, and if they choose that, they would have got 3 marks out of 3. The final thing I'd like you to look at is to identify different scientific variables. Here we have 3 scientific variables. The independent variable is what you change as the scientist. The dependent variable is what you observe, so the changes that happen, and the controlled variable is what you keep the same. So to do this final learning objective, I'm going to set you a challenge. What I would like you to do is to make a cup of tea for a parent or a guardian, and what I'd like you to do is write down all of the variables for me. Now if you want to send me evidence of this, feel free to put on a funny hat, send me a picture.